referees are against them as well. They just can't. They're not good enough. They're good enough to hang with this team 100%. They are not good enough to hang with this team with the refs not on their side. And if you guys didn't see during the game, just take a look at this. Like, Stephanie White is going mad at the refs. Has to be calmed down by Caitlin Clark. She has to be calmed down by Caitlin Clark when she got teed up. And like, obviously she got teed up because the ESPN won't even show. They're just saying Fever coach received technical foul. They don't even show why. This is why. Shea Petty is under the basket.
The Indiana Fever's playoff elimination against the Atlanta Dream was marked by widespread dissatisfaction with the officiating crew's performance. The refereeing quality reached particularly troublesome levels, with one official standing out as notably worse than the rest. The poor officiating created an environment where the Fever faced an uphill battle they were ill-equipped to handle. While the Fever possess enough talent to compete evenly with the Dream under normal circumstances, adding questionable officiating to the equation made victory nearly impossible. The team's ceiling allows them to match Atlanta's intensity during peak performance, but combining subpar referee decisions with their existing challenges proved insurmountable. Head coach Stephanie White's frustration reached a boiling point during the contest, requiring intervention from star player Caitlin Clark to prevent further escalation.
Technical foul. They don't even show why. This is why. Shea Petty is under the basket and she just gets chucked by Naz Hillman. She just gets chucked by Naz Hillman. About 3 possessions earlier, Lexi Hull's going for an offensive rebound and just gets thrown into the crowd. And the referees are ignoring it. So for me, that's just the way I'm looking at it. Like, the referees ignored so much excessive contact on the side of the Fever, and then this is what Stephanie White has to say about the fact that they used both their challenges.
White ultimately received a technical foul for her protests, though television coverage provided minimal context for the infraction. The broadcast simply noted that the Fever coach had been assessed a technical without explaining the circumstances. Several specific incidents highlighted the officiating inconsistencies. Shea Petty absorbed significant contact from Naz Hillman near the basket without a whistle. Multiple possessions later, Lexi Hall was forcefully displaced while pursuing an offensive rebound, nearly ending up in the spectator area. Yet officials remained silent. These examples demonstrated a pattern of excessive physical play being overlooked when directed toward Fever players.
Challenges. The Fever had to use both of their challenges in the first half. So let's take a listen.
In the first half, and it seemed like the tensions boiled over in the fourth with those technical fouls. Just how frustrating was that today?
It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Nobody likes to use their challenges in the first half, especially when they're successful.
The situation became so problematic that Indiana exhausted both challenge opportunities during the opening half alone. When questioned about this unusual circumstance, White offered cryptic commentary about adapting strategies and finding advantages within the existing framework. Her response touched on treating officiating like strategic chess moves against opponents, though the meaning remained unclear and difficult to interpret. Despite the officiating concerns, Atlanta likely possessed superior talent regardless. The Dream demonstrated greater size, speed, and overall athleticism. Their transition game operated more effectively, and their coaching appeared more polished.
First half, especially when they're successful. And look, it is what it is. This is not anything that's new. I think how we adjust, how we use it to our advantage on one end and try to be disciplined enough to not on the other end. It's an equal chess match as it is for playing an opponent, right? So, I think that's just an area that we're going to have to dive into, how we get an advantage.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
While the Fever shouldn't be considered mentally or physically weaker, by the statery, they actually display remarkable resilience unmatched elsewhere in the league. Atlanta's advantages in multiple areas created significant challenges. The combination of Atlanta's natural advantages with questionable officiating created an impossible scenario for Indiana. The Fever's trademark toughness allows them to compete with superior opponents under fair conditions, but adding referee bias eliminated any realistic path to victory. Part of the officiating disparity stems from reputation-based treatment. Teams and players perceived as physically imposing receive more favorable whistles and benefit of the doubt calls. Established tough players like Lou Dorton historically get away with aggressive play that would draw fouls against others.
I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, I actually have no idea. Like, I thought by the end of this season I'd be a good Stephanie White translator. Everything is a blessing in disguise. I don't know if she's talking about using challenges to her advantage or using referees to the advantage. I actually don't know what she's saying. I don't know what she's trying to say. That might just be me. I have no idea. No idea what she's trying to say here.
The Fever suffer from being viewed as a finesse team lacking physical intimidation. This reputation disadvantage manifests in numerous ways. When Bree Jones initiates contact, officials often view it as legitimate physicality from a strong player. When Fever players experience similar contact, it's more likely called as a foul. The same standard applies across multiple matchups: Ryan Howard versus Lexi Hall, Alicia Gray against Kelsey Mitchell, where established reputations influence officiating decisions. The Fever's lack of veteran presence compounds these issues.
Idea what she's trying to say here. But like, for me with the referee situation, like, look, I don't think that the Indiana Fever win this game. I think there's no scenario really that the Indiana Fever win that game. I think that the Dream were better on the day. I think they're the better team. I think they're bigger, stronger, faster. I think they're tougher. I don't think I'm not going to say mentally tougher, because I think the Indiana Fever.
Most successful teams benefit from experienced players who command referee respect, creating favorable whistle treatment. Even respected players like Kelsey Mitchell haven't achieved the veteran status that influences officials. Without established voices who can work the referees, Indiana operates at a consistent disadvantage. Previous examples support this pattern. When Ivana Dochkic joined Indiana, her typically reliable whistle seemed to disappear. During a crucial game against New York, she absorbed obvious contact on a potential game-winning layup without getting a call.
I don't think I'm not going to say mentally tougher, because I think the Indiana Fever are unbelievably mentally tough. I mean, physically tougher. I think they're a team that has the ability to light up more than the Indiana Fever. They're faster. They play better in transition. They're better coached. Just kind of everything goes for the Atlanta Dream. And when you've got all those advantages, and the Fever are still able to hang, because they have this resilience that no other team in the WNBA has, so they can hang.
The very next possession saw Lexi Hall called for a questionable foul while defending vertically, allowing the Liberty to secure victory. Natasha Howard represents the Fever's closest approximation to veteran whistle treatment, but even she receives inconsistent officiating outside of rare exceptional performances. Her dominant showing from the free throw line during the Commissioner's Cup final stands as an outlier rather than typical treatment. The broader pattern suggests systematic disadvantages for younger, less established teams like Indiana. While this may not represent intentional bias against the Fever specifically, reputational factors clearly influence how officials call games. Teams like the Dream, Mercury, and Liberty benefit from veteran credibility that Indiana currently lacks.
Team the WNBA has, so they can hang. But I will say that with that being said, like, they've absolutely not got the ability to hang when the referees are going against them. And I think one of the reasons why the referees are going against them is purely because when you are not seen as this physical, tough team, when you're
White's visible frustration throughout the contest reflected these ongoing challenges. Her animated protests represented justified responses to consistently unfavorable treatment rather than poor sportsmanship. The officiating quality reached levels that warranted strong reactions, particularly given the playoff stakes and accumulated grievances from the entire season. The situation highlighted fundamental issues with how referee respect operates in professional basketball. Until the Fever established the veteran presence and physical reputation necessary to influence officials, they'll continue facing uphill battles in crucial moments. The talent exists to compete with elite teams, but external factors like officiating bias create additional obstacles that that superior opponents don't encounter.
Move up, and it becomes a big three, right? The only problem is only one of your now intact big three decided to show up, and it was Kelsey Mitchell. Take a look at this. This was before the game. All the players that are out. There's literally a team here, folks. Dantas is all of a sudden, she was out due to a concussion. And I was like,
The Indiana Fever suffered a devastating playoff defeat against the Atlanta Dream, falling 80-68 in what turned out to be a lopsided contest. The final score made the game appear closer than it actually was throughout most of the matchup. The Fever entered this crucial playoff game severely undermanned, missing several crucial contributors. Caitlin Clark was absent from the lineup, along with Sophie Cunningham, Chloe B., Sydney Colson, and Eric McDonald. Additionally, Darius Dantas was sidelined due to a concussion, though the circumstances surrounding this injury remained unclear.
concussion. And I was like, where the hell did the concussion come from? By the way, you see all these white seats back here? Well, we'll get to that in a second because I wonder what kind of spin we're going to have coming out of this one. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, there's Chloe Bibby, Sydney Colson, Demarius Dantas with a concussion, Eric McDonald. Guys, so
with so many regular contributors unavailable, the expectation was that Natasha Howard would step into a larger role alongside the remaining core players. Howard, who was brought in as a significant addition to complement the team's other stars, was expected to elevate her performance when needed most. Unfortunately, only one member of what should have been the team's primary trio rose to the occasion. Kelsey Mitchell delivered the lone bright spot for Indiana, playing 33 minutes and scoring 27 points while shooting 9 of 18 from the field. Despite her strong individual effort, Mitchell couldn't single-handedly carry the team to victory.
So, earlier in the day, Sophie Cunningham, and this is her official account, God is moving, and I think everyone can feel a shift. Stay in the Word. Be strong and courageous. Remain bold. And with that being said, happy Sunday and happy playoffs. Yeah, we're trying. So, right here, this was a line of people. Chloe Peterson put this up. And let me just turn that down.
The remaining key players struggled mightily throughout the contest. Natasha Howard managed just 5 points on 2 of 7 shooting, a disappointing 28% from the field. Her limited shot attempts were particularly concerning given the absence of other offensive options. Aliyah Boston's performance was equally troubling. She finished with 8 points on 3 of 9 shooting, but her struggles were even more pronounced than the final numbers suggested.
Well, Chloe Peterson put this up, and let me just turn that down. There was a line of people right here, folks. I mean, going all the way back here. Not for a Caitlin Clark autograph. That is for Sophie Cunningham. Right here. Newest member of the Missouri Tiger Hall of Fame. I keep telling people she's unbelievably popular.
Boston had managed only 4 points deep into the fourth quarter before adding late baskets that made her stat line appear slightly better. The trio of Howard, Boston, and Lexi Holt combined for an abysmal 8 of 29 shooting performance with only a single three-pointer among them. Such inefficient shooting from key players made victory nearly impossible. Questions arose about shot distribution and offensive strategy. With Clark unavailable, both Howard and Boston should have commanded significantly more offensive touches.
Unbelievably popular. Okay. I'd love to see some analytics of where she actually ranks among the players in the league. So, right here, I posted this. This was it was 20 minutes into the game. There are a ton of empty seats for the Fever and Dream. I don't care if they end up reporting a sellout or not. Those chairs are empty, and there was a lot of them. And you could tell.
Howard's 7 field goal attempts and Boston's 9 were insufficient for players expected to carry the scoring load. Both players should have received 12 pay-team shot attempts minimum. Coach Stephanie White's rotation decisions came under scrutiny. Minutes and shots went to role players like Arrow Powers 4 attempts, Shea Petty 2 attempts, and Odyssey Sims 7 attempts, while the supposed primary scorers struggled to find rhythm with limited opportunities. Howard's disappointing showing was particularly noteworthy given her credentials.
Out or not, those chairs are empty, and there was a lot of them. And you could tell closer to the game as it got going, people started moving up from higher up down. And so some of those empty seats ended up filling up, but the other seats, all of a sudden, rut row, we got a problem. So the game, it was an ugly game. It was 80-68. It really wasn't this close. It really wasn't this close.
The 2-time All-Star and 3-time WNBA champion averaged over 17 points per game the previous season and earned all WNBA recognition in 2019. Her inability to produce in this crucial moment highlighted the team's struggles. The game's atmosphere reflected the on-court difficulties. Despite eventual reports of a sellout, numerous empty seats were visible early in the contest. Many spectators later moved down from upper sections to fill vacant lower-level seats, but the initial sparse attendance was notable for a playoff game.
Isn't this close? And 2 of your big 3 just didn't bother to show up in this game. Natasha Howard, 2 of 7, 28%, 5 points. Aaliyah Boston was awful in this game. She was terrible. Don't get fooled by 8 points because she had 4 points well into the fourth quarter. Finished with 8 points, 3 of 9.
Sophie Cunningham's absence was felt beyond just her on-court contributions. Long lines of fans waited for her autograph before the game, demonstrating her significant popularity.
8 points, 3 of 9. I mean, good God. That is nuts. 8 of 29 between Lexi Holt, Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston. 8 of 29. And guys, that's with only 1 3-pointer. That's not going to work. You're going to lose games like that. Only one of your big 3 showed up.
White received some praise for earning a technical foul while defending her team, but this gesture came too late to impact the outcome. The team trailed by 10 points with 8 minutes remaining when the incident occurred. The injury situation remained murky, particularly regarding Dantas' concussion. Unlike other professional leagues that provide detailed injury explanations, the timeline and cause of her head injury remained unclear. This lack of transparency has become a pattern in how the league handles player health information.